We're going to start this the easy way. Introduce yourself and tell us what you do over there at the U.
Yeah, so my name's Kyle Qualiana. I'm the Associate Director of the Lindahl Academic Center. And so I work here. We're a department that serves exclusively student athletes. And so I'm assigned to three sports. I work with men's basketball, women's soccer, and women's golf. This is going to be my 12th season here at the U. I've had just an awesome time here, man. Super happy to talk about all the different stuff that I've done. I'm also a PhD student here, so I'm a third-year PhD student in our higher education
Wow.
program. And then I oversee a few parts of our office as well. So I oversee a couple of our counselors, and I oversee our tutoring program, which is, I think, kind of how I got looped into some of your questions. And so happy to talk about any and all those things.
Talk a little bit about some of those building blocks, the bricks that are essential in the life of an athlete, because their lives are way different than other students, right?
I would love to just show you a schedule, right? And you can see, man, it's an 8 to 8 deal a lot of the time for these student athletes. You know what I'm saying? Every sport. That's not one sport exclusive. That's every sport. That's how intense it can be. So the thing I like to talk about, right, is like, hey, yeah, you could probably go home and figure this problem out in 4 hours, right? This tutoring problem or this math problem, or I can get you with a tutor who can explain it to you in an hour. And that's you using your time more efficiently, right? You're going to have to learn how to do that. That's really, really important. So we talk through that kind of stuff all the time. Honestly, dude, it's in my opinion, it's building an academic schedule that works for that student, and then that includes class times and where they need to be and when practice is and how you're going to eat lunch. Sometimes, right? We need to think about that, like how you're going to get properly fueled for all this, right? All of that goes into a planning of just like the technical class schedule, right? On top of that, we need to then think about, okay, now that we've got this class schedule, which are the classes you might need a little bit of help with, right? Which ones are going to be ones that you're going to be okay in? And how can we balance those things in a schedule? All that stuff has to be considered.
For a kid who is struggling with with time, with whatever course of action, what would you say first thing to do if they find themselves being overwhelmed and struggling in the classroom, maybe because of demands, maybe as you say they're using that sport as an excuse? What's the first step?
And find ways to get support with that, right? You don't need to have all the answers. Nobody is expecting you to have all of the answers, especially as a high schooler or a middle schooler, right? I think you need to seek some help with that, right? There's definitely counselors and hopefully parents or role models or coaches that can help support you in those things, and can help you learn to balance these two things.
That self-advocacy piece, talk about a skill that is necessary, especially, you know, it, you can learn that and you can experience it as a young person, can't you?
We teach it, right? We absolutely teach that. That's one of our absolute core values in all of our counselors, is to teach self-advocacy and things like that. But the students that come in and have that, whew, sky's the limit, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the ones who recognize, hey, I do need help with this, right? And you can be an elite level athlete and be like, I still need help with athletics, right? Like you can be an elite level student and be like, I still need help with student stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like all that is critical. Yeah, that skill is absolutely something to work on in high school. Knowing yourself, right?
What advice would you give to young athletes, like in middle and high school, whatever, in terms of setting the table for further success? What they can do now with routine, with schedule, with habits, whatever, to set the table for life, whether it be in a D1 sport or just succeeding at college and knocking it out of the park.
The one thing that I would say is somewhat universal is this statement: use sports, don't let sports use you. And I guess what I mean by that is like use sports to make friends, use sports to learn leadership, use sports to travel. Use sports to like learn how to deal with adversity and failure and all the awesome things that come with sports. Right? These are the reasons that we have sports in our culture, and like they're a great educational tool. Use sports. Don't let sports use you. And I guess what I mean by don't let them use you is like don't use sports as an excuse for bad grades or an excuse for not being present or an excuse for slacking in life. Those are the things that means sports is using you, dude. Like that's not how you capitalize on your experiences just in life. And I think if you look at it that way, I think that's where you're going to have a lot more success, right? How can I use this experience to better myself and make myself, whether it's an athlete or an individual, right? I think both of those things are really important.